This is the Almost Gone. It's a very simplistic escape room puzzle game, and it reminded me a lot of some puzzle games I used to play when I was younger, called the Red Door, the Yellow Door, and things like that, where you would have a small scenario where you would explore the rooms and try and find the different objects in typical escape room style, and then try and make your way out of that room. And then as you make your way out of that room, obviously it leads into the next game and the next game, and you know, they all had their own sorts of themes and things going on. And this, again, it brought that sort of feeling back to me, but obviously it's in a fully fledged game that's been put together. And I wonder, just because of the art style and the way that it plays, whether it's by the same people that did that, I have no idea. But it definitely brought back the aspects, especially the first area. And if you like escape room puzzles where you try and find various objects, find out how they can go together and solve the puzzles, look for various hints around the rooms or with special things to try and, you know, find the combinations to open certain things, there's a lot of that going on. And they do have 5 different chapters. Essentially the last chapter is like a prologue isn't the right word, but an epilogue to close out the game and, you know, conclude it. So essentially it's 4 areas of puzzles, I'd say, pretty much, and they all have their own thematic area and a lot going on to it to explore, and their own sorts of puzzles. Obviously there's a root of a tree growing from the entire thing, which sort of is to do with the storyline that you're exploring as you go along. But I definitely recommend giving it a go, because all the areas and all the puzzles, you have got a lot of exploration. There's actually a lot to explore in each of the different chapters, and you might find some of the puzzles harder than some of the others in certain areas, or, you know, but they do try to point you in the right directions, and you never really get stuck. The only time that I got stuck was on the hospital chapter, when the bottle didn't open when it really should have, and, you know, I couldn't get one of the slides, but I think they patched that because it now has a glow and it does open, so that's the only sort of thing. But yeah, I like what there was going on with it. It's got interesting colour schemes, and all the different areas have their own sort of colour scheme and light and darkness and feel very different, and there's a big interesting storyline that branches through the entire game. Now, some of the puzzles, they will expect you to see things in the room that you can't click on and use those to achieve the puzzle, and then you will get an achievement. They'll be like, well, did you cheat at that? And it's like, well, no, I clearly found the solution and saw it. It's just you don't let me click it to say, hey, I got this. And, you know, that's understandable, because if you could just randomly click everywhere and just go like, oh yeah, that's the thing that I need, it sort of defeats the purpose of the game at times. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. It took me about 2 hours to complete, and if you're into escape room sort of puzzle games, and especially if you played the aforementioned browser games that I suggested before, then I'd suggest giving it a go. And there is a demo that you can go trying out if you want to see if it is for you. But yeah, it's got an interesting storyline and plot to it. There's a lot of interesting puzzles. They vary, and the different areas vary. So, you know, there's a bit of a challenge to it, and a bit of stuff to work out, and a lot of storyline to discover. So if you're into that, I'd say go check out The Almost Gone for yourself.